What I'm doing is I'm moving with the chair from side to side. Down, up, down, up. Good. Down. When I'm lifting, I'm trying to exhale.
Hello and welcome to this special episode on health. Today is World Health Day, and what better day than to really realize that in today's stressful times, when we are running against schedules, when we are working in our offices from morning to night, when we are traveling all the time, when there is so much of stress from the environment in terms of pollution, when everything is up in arms against our fitness, this is the day to really sit back and give our mind, our body a thought. That is the reason why we have Tanya here with us. Tanya, welcome to this special episode of News Mobile.
Thank you so much, Shipra. It's been a pleasure being with you here.
Right. So I'll give you a quick background about Tanya. Tanya is a fitness coach. She's an expert in fitness. She is trained by the American Council on Exercise. And how it really came about, I think that's got a very interesting turn to it. Tanya has an MBA with a number of years of experience on the corporate side. And then she actually realized that all the years of corporate were really affecting her body. And she was very passionate about going back to fitness, about trying to do things that can help people take charge of their bodies, and that's how fitness came about. She's also a marathon runner. Give us an idea of how you're going to break up this entire episode.
Yes, so essentially the reason I'm dressed in a corporate attire and not the usual gym wear is so that I mimic exactly what we go through in a normal corporate scenario.
Tanya, a lot of times what I also notice is that people don't want to get up. See, most of the offices now are open spaces. They don't want to get up and start doing exercises because they're going to attract attention and it could be embarrassing. Absolutely. Are you going to be telling us exercises that we can do while we're sitting?
Absolutely, that's a very, very fair point. I can absolutely relate to how people would feel intimidated in the corporate workspace, if you just stand up and start moving your body. And, I know exactly how the mentality is. People kind of mock you and it becomes like a source of, jokes. So we don't want to attract that. And yet we want to, preserve our bodies. So yes, majority of my workout here that we're going to demonstrate is going to be on the chair. Yes.
Wonderful. And there are two parts that you've broken the entire thing in. Can you just tell us what these two parts are? And then we are very quickly going to get into Tanya demonstrating these exercises for us.
We basically broken it up into two parts. The first part you could treat it as a mobility drill just to, loosen up your body. It's not particularly a workout, but it just gets your, various joints and muscles moving. Second one is going to be a little more strength oriented. It's going to focus on the core and your key muscle groups like your arms and your legs.
I think that's great. We cannot wait enough now, Tanya. And I think this is going to be something that's really going to help everybody in the corporate sector. At the end of it, it's all about fitness. It's all about health, because that's the only thing that can make us really happy. So Tanya, I hand over to you.
So let's start with a couple of stability and mobility exercises. People primarily seated to their chairs and they're constantly staring at their desktops, as a result of which their neck tends to go forward, their shoulders get a bit rounded up. I think most of us invariably have some kind of tension behind, that's called the cervix. So we're going to try and loosen that up. So we start with semicircular rotations. We can do these 5 times. I'm essentially trying to make as roundish a circle as I can, but I'm not fully completing it. I'm going from side to side and making a deep rotation. So first I did a clockwise rotation. Now I'll look at the other direction, anti-clockwise, looking down. We are basically working on our neck flexors and neck extensors. We're trying to loosen the tension. 5 times clockwise, 5 times anti-clockwise. Let's focus on the shoulders. So we'll start with rotations. We put our hands on our shoulders and we want to rotate them. I'm starting with clockwise again So let's try and make as big circles as we can in a clockwise manner, and then we go switch the direction to anti-clockwise. Again, we can try and do 10 reps in each direction. Now let's focus on our legs a little bit. They're called knee raises. So we just raise our leg one at a time independently. My calves and my quads or thighs are at a 90-degree angle. They're not too much in front. My feet are not too much in front. They're absolutely at 90 degrees. And we just do alternate leg lifts on our ankles and our calves as well. So first we can do ankle rotations. Again, it's a lot similar to our shoulder rotation movement. And just circular motion, and then I go in the other direction. So about 10 of each should suffice. Lastly, we can also work on a little bit of knee strength, and what we have to do is try and extend our knee and get it back. Lift, get it down. When I'm lifting, I'm trying to exhale, and then inhale, extend, exhale. As part 2 of the video, let's focus a little bit on core strengthening. Now, why we need to strengthen the core is essentially we're looking at the core. It's the backbone of our body. So we begin with the squat. It's a compound movement. So you must be wondering, what is compound movement? Compound movement requires you to use various joints of your body to do that exercise. We have to focus on is hinging the hip. So there are 2 ways of sitting down on a seat. One is getting your knees forward and sitting like that. That's a big no. We don't want to do that. We don't want to use our knee to be sitting down. We want to use our glutes or the hip to do that work for us. So that's called a hip hinge, and that means that you need to just get your hip at the back, try and get it as much at the back as you can, and sit down. So what you would have observed here is that my knees are not really going forward. All the work is primarily being done by my hip extensors. Hinge my hip at the back. I keep hinging it until I sit on the seat, and I stand upright again. 1, 2. So this is how it works. At the back, basically stick out your butt and just sit down and stand up again. So even if you do like 10 counts of this, it's really helping. We're going to do a little bit of oblique crunches. So obliques are a part of our abdominal core muscles. So what we need to do is sit a little bit forward, come forward on your seat. My knees and my thighs are still at a 90-degree angle, the calves and thighs. And what I need to do is just twist from side to side. Is the chair swivel. So we just catch hold of the table very slightly so that our chair is stable. So the reason why I'm seated on this chair is because invariably in offices you see the chairs with wheels, and it's a big risk if it's unstable. So please ensure that you make sure that it's stationary. So why I'm holding this table is to ensure that it's stationary, it doesn't move while I'm doing this exercise. So this is called the chair swivel. It's very similar to the oblique crunch. So what I'm doing is I'm moving with the chair from side to side. So ab crunches is essentially you need the arm rest for this. If you don't have the arm rest, you can catch hold of your chair on either side. I'm going to take the help of the arm rest since I have it. So this is what we're going to do. I will slightly tilt back, and I need to basically get my knees to my chest. That's like a crunch. So when I'm getting them closer, I'm trying to exhale, and when I'm going back to position, I'm inhaling. So exhale, Inhale. Let's look at a bit of the arm work. First one that I would like to demonstrate is the tricep dip. We do really need to ensure that the chair is absolutely stable. By stable, I mean it should be stationary. I don't want you guys like rolling back and forth essentially. So this is what we're going to do. I shifted forward. Now my hip is not getting support of the chair. I'm basically using my arms, my hands. These are taking the entire load of my body. What I'm going to do is try and move my elbow backwards and go down, down, up, down, up. Is the bent over fly. A couple of weights here to make it challenging. You're most welcome to try it without the weight. This is my position. I'm seated and I'm bent over. That's why it's called a bent over fly. So I'm bent over. I can't go fully down because that's going to make it more challenging. So I would suggest you probably get into a 45-degree angle. Even this would work on the chair. 45-degree angle. My hands are forward. My arms are facing each other. And I basically just lift the bottles. I'm not straightening it fully. I'm like this and back. Lift them to each side and back. Exercises can be conducted by a man or a woman. As you can see, it's trousers, you can wear heels. They will not limit you in any way. So the whole intent of this video is to encourage each and every person to move. You do not necessarily need a gym or the park to be able to move. So this is just about taking out that 10 minutes in your 9 to 10 hour schedule. That's all you need. You need your chair and you're going to make it happen. And cheers to fitness, cheers to being fitter even at your workplace.